Hello. So, till now, we have set up memberships, we have created users, we have set up locations and venues, we have looked at miscellaneous settings, created site configuration, email templates, and all of this. Now, we'll go and create an event, which is the main thing of this platform, which is the main functionality and main core agenda of Currinda. So, let's see how an event is created. Whenever, as an admin, you log into Currinda, you land on this page, which is called Your Events. We also have some other listings called upcoming events, past events, outstanding events, which is basically the list of events which have money outstanding, and sponsored events, which had sponsors, and all events, and then we have the add event. We can create an event by two ways, by clicking on add event here, or we can click add event here on this button. So let's do either of them. Let's do this one. So now we can create a short name for the event. Let's say we want to create Currinda tutorials. So in short, this would be called CT. And then we have multiple event types, which will go into detail afterwards in a separate video. For now, let's select the one which has all of the functionality that encompasses all of the other event types. So let's click on conference, which is the largest of all of them and has the most functionalities. Now you can note here, before proceeding to choose a venue from the below box, please make sure that the venue is already in locations and venues. If it's not added yet, you can add it by creating here. So let's do that. Now we have already created some venues. Let's click on and open it in a new tab. You can see we had created a Sydney Cricket Stadium and we had created some accommodations, which is Grand Hyatt, right? Now we'll go back and suppose our event is conference and we are going to hold it in, let's say, Sydney Cricket Ground. We can select Sydney Cricket Stadium, and if I want to create a new venue which is not listed anywhere, I can click on this and a new venue modal will pop up and we can add our details here. For now, let's click on this and select Sydney, and we can also have a secondary venue, but this is optional. So sometimes an event is held primarily at one place and then secondarily at another place, or simultaneously at two places. So this is that functionality. We'll leave this out. We do not need to fill this. And now, will this even be taking registration? So yes, we'll be checking this on. Only uncheck this option if you never will be using this event to process registrations, if you're only using the abstract features. So that's that. And now we'll fill in the schedule information. Let's say this event is going to happen from 1st of January till 3rd of January, and the event time zone is, let's say, Melbourne. And you can see the registration date is already filled in. It basically starts whenever we hit this page. It adds 1 hour to that because it needs to be in future. The registration dates need to be on future, so it keeps them 1 hour in future by default till the time we fill in this page. And then I can choose the last date here. Let's say I close my registrations on 20th, and we can also modify the time. Let's say I want to keep it to 9 p.m. on 20th December, so it will take that. Now registration time zone, let's say this is again Melbourne. Maximum registration number, this is a maximum registration number for the limits, for ensuring any limit on the registrations. Let's say I want to have 200 number. And event website, let's say we have currinda.com. the HTTPS is already filled in for you. And now team members. Now you can see, before proceeding to choose project leader and team members in the below fields, please ensure that the project leader and team members are already added on Currinda platform, which is basically again a similar thing like the venue. If We have already created a user. We can select them from here, but if the user doesn't exist, we can create them here, and they will be by default admins, which is an important point to note. You can see that here. If they're not added yet, you can add them by searching the project leader or team members field and clicking on create new user. Please note that they will be created as admins. So now I'll go ahead and check one of the users. Let's say I want to search for someone named Sheikh. Okay, there's no Sheikh here. I can search for someone else. Let's say I put in just an alphabet and it finds out someone. Let's say we pick Jamie Wagner, and we keep the team member as someone which is kind of the secondary admin for this event, and this is like a primary administrator for this event. Let's say we keep the team member as, we'll search for you, whoever pops up. Let's say Michael Quinn, and this can be a list of members. And let's say we add another one, searching by R, and let's say it's Natalia Komko. And now, important point, this is the project availability, which means if we want to test out some features and see how we want to set up the event and have some test registrations, test submissions come in, we can use the testing mode. However, if you use the testing mode and then you have a lot of submissions coming in, you have registrations coming in, and you want to switch to the active mode, when you switch to the active mode, it's going to remove all of the payments and registrations and submissions. So there's no going back from there. So we make sure that we use this cautiously. Let's set this to the active mode. Once again, the note here is worth reading. Testing stage does not show credit card payment option on the delegate payment page. Going live from testing removes any registrations done in testing stage. Now we'll click on next and our event is basically created. Okay, somehow my name, I might have refreshed the page and this missed out. Currinda test, let's say. Let's click on next. And now my event is created. Now I'll continue filling in some of other details here, and you can see I'm on the financial details page. Here we select the currency that we're going to operate in for this event. There are 6 or 7 options here. You can see we've already gone through the finance page on the organization. This is much similar to that. So we'll go through minimal details. Let's say I keep the tax amount to 5%. Bank account, as already explained, is a list of bank accounts ready with us, which are added here in the miscellaneous settings, and I can select them from here. Let's say I select Urogynecological Society for Queensland, and the risky bank account is Urogynecological Society of Australia. And sub account, as already mentioned, this is part of the invoice, and we can add a payment gateway or select a payment gateway, as already explained also. Let's say we select Secure Pay, and Secure Pay gets selected. Now we can add the payment options, how we want the delegates to pay. Allow delegates to pay with credit card, yes. Pay with direct deposit, pay by check, pay by invoice. We're enabling all of the options. Now some of the details are already filled in from the miscellaneous settings, like we have site configuration. From there we have the ABN text number and some of the other details that are already filled in from there. Now we can go ahead and add an invoice due text. Let's say this invoice is due on a certain date. Let's say it's 31st of December 2025. Let's continue. Then we have the credit card fee. Let's say we charge 1% of the normal credit cards, and if we are using and allowing American Express, we can charge a certain fee for that as well. Let's say it's 3%. Here's a tooltip. Please note that the Amex needs to be configured separately at your payment gateway. This setting will make Amex cards able to be processed through Currinda. However, there may be an error if it's not configured. So let's keep that in mind. Payment page text. This is the text that appears on the payment page once we are on the payment page on the delegate side. Let's say the payment page says, please make sure that once you pay, you do not or let's say please make sure that once you pay, the payments will be approved and only then would they be visible on your dashboard. This is just a sample text, do not take this seriously. We can add some legal documents here which can be inherited if we had configured them in the site configuration. We did not like this was filled in, the invoice name, accounts email, all of this was filled in. This can also be filled in by default if we add them in the site configuration. Let's click on terms and conditions. Let's choose a sample file. Let's say some random report of Currinda. Oh, this is a big file. I'll just choose a smaller one just for the network request. This is again a sample file, nothing to take seriously. And then I can enable discounts. Like in the organizations, we create a discount code, it gets checked if it's available. Let's say the discount is the new discount and it gets checked, the code is available. Let's say the discount amount is 100 and the quantity is 20. Description is Nivier discount, and then the date range from where this is applicable would be 4th of December to, let's say, 31st of December, and the time zone is inherited already from the time zone we set for this event. So Australia, Melbourne. Let's say add, it gets added, and then we click on next. All of these details get saved that we created on the financial details. Now we are on the customization page. On the customization page, there are multiple options like delegates consent to publish details, first name, last name, state, position, and organization. There's this checkbox which asks for the delegates if they want to publish their details on the Currinda smartphone app, which is the iOS or Android app. So let's say, yeah, I want to ask them if they want to publish their details. Then we have additional options. Let's read this. We have multiple options here. Type and select title, position, address, mobile, cell, state, organization, postcode, and department to force delegates to fill in these details. So what happens is, by default, only first name and last name are asked by the Currinda from the delegate who is registering to the event or who is signing up for Currinda. Those are the only mandatory fields. However, when signing up for an event, we can force some of the information to be filled in. Let's say I want them to fill their gender. I want them to fill their phone number. Now, gender and mobile number will appear on the profile of the delegate when they are going to register, but these will not be mandatory fields. They can be made mandatory if we click on the gender field here and the mobile number field here. So this list, this comes from here. So whatever we add here can be made mandatory here. So let's say I add another field. Let's say I want their address. Now I can select address here. So now these three fields, as I added them here, they'll be asked from the delegate but not mandatory. However, If these fields are added here afterwards, they become mandatory for the user to fill in. And we can also have a registration item message. This message will be displayed if the registration date has passed or if there are no items available. So let's say, please contact the admin email from the footer to find out if there are any vacancies left. So usually this isn't the case when registration is closed, it's closed, but yes, sometimes um, places open up, so this is just a sample message to show for the registration items. And then we have someone who can manage the accommodations for us and is the accommodation admin. So let's register someone by searching. Let's say I search for B, and okay, I don't want to create a new user. I'll search for someone till someone pops up. Let's say I select Kate for it, and then we have this checkbox, student is retired. Student is retired means we can choose students. We are enabling the registration for students whose student status has expired. So this is one. And then we can also disable group registrations. Now what are group registrations? We can come on to that later. Also, let's uncheck this box for now. Now we have the name tag section here, and inside of the name tag we can fill in some of the detail, and these name tags are then printed and are used in the event by the delegates. So let's say I want to fill in some other detail here. I don't want the organization to be printed in or the country to be printed in. Let's say I want um, to search something related to the user. I want to print their first name and their last name. Sorry, I'll just type here user.last name. Now I can preview this, how it will look like. So as you can see, this is the banner for this event, which is a sample banner because this is a preview. And then the name appears here, which is the first name and last name. And then we have the QR code, which is the registration for the event. This is again a sample name tag which does not reflect the actual details. And then we have the add-ons and their quantities defined on the name tag itself or the name badge. This can be called by multiple names. And we can close this. Let's say I want this to be a little more prominent and I want this font size to be bigger. I can select this text and set it to 18 and make it bold by clicking Ctrl B or just clicking B here, bold. Now I can preview and this will look bigger as compared to the previous one. Now let's continue. So hide name tag. What hide name tag would do is sometimes we allow the users to see the name tags, and if we hide the name tag they will not be able to see it in their registration, and let's not do that. We'll not go into this. Small name tag is intended for the admin if they want to print a smaller name tag. In that case they are able to print more of them on a smaller amount of paper, makes use of less paper then. And then we can also disable the invited speaker labels, which is basically a functionality in which if we have invited a speaker, they have a speaker label or something attached to their delegate name tag. However, we can disable those labels. So this is what this checkbox does. And then we have a certificate of attendance that we can customize, which is presented to the delegates after they have attended the event, once they're marked as attended on the event, which we'll go into later. So this is the sample text here. This is certificate of participation presented to, let's say, again, user dot first name and user dot last name. And then we have a signing position. We can write a sample name, someone who is signing it off. Let's say my name. And then we can put in the official signatures uh, that will appear on the documents. Let's say the first one is, we can have two ways of signing a document. One would be to search a user and their name would appear, or we can attach a signature file, which is a matter of preference for the admins, what they want to do. So we have both ways. We can select a file or we can search for the user. Let's say I want to search for a user and attach them, and let's say I search for O, someone would pop up. Let's say Farid Iqbal, and I'll again do the same with secondary signature. Let's search for E. Let's say we select Triveni Nanda, and then we have some email controls here. Batch email from primary admin, and what this means is whenever the emails are going from the system, selecting this option will send all emails from the email of the primary admin set in event setup. Otherwise, the emails are sent from the email address of the admin who is logged in. So if I'm sending the email, this will be showing Currinda support. However, if I check this box, the email sent from this event will be sent through the primary admin. So primary admin is someone we selected back in the general details. So let's continue filling in the rest of the details. CC confirmation email. Selecting this option will CC a copy of all emails sent by Currinda to the primary admin. So it is as it explains. Now, email sign off. We can have a default sign off for all of the events. We can create a picture here. We can add a sign off. Let's say I'm adding Abdul from Currinda, and I'm adding a picture here. I can click here, add a picture. Let's say I added this picture. It's getting uploaded, and now you can see it. Since it appears big, I can reduce it down. Okay, I inserted it twice, so let's delete it once. Now I have one picture. I can go to its corner and click on here, drag it down, and it will become smaller. Now I want this text above this logo. Now I made some space, wrote Abdul from Currinda, and this will go on in the form of an email sign off. Now, confirmation page text. Once our registration is confirmed, we have a template here saved which appears on the confirmation page once the delegate has completed their registration. And then similarly, we have a confirmation page text for the group member registration, and this is the by default template that exists here. We can manipulate it and put in all of the details that we want to. And yes, sometimes we want to send a letter of intent or supporting letter in case the delegate is coming from somewhere foreign. Suppose I'm based in Australia, I want someone from the US to come in for this event. We have to send them some of the documents that are required for them to come to and attend the event. So let's click on this one. We have a sample here, and this sample will be printed with their details and then sent to them so that they can show these documents to the embassies and get their visas prepared in time. And for that purpose, we also have a visa letter, and which also has a template. This can be manipulated, this can be edited and downloaded later on, which can be sent to the delegate, or the delegate can download it themselves. If the visa letter is enabled and their passport details are filled in, they'll be able to download the visa letter. And then we can This is the end of customization. Let's click on next and reach the social media aspect of this event. Now, what is social media? These are some of the uh, popular social media networks where we might be promoting the event and posting their updates. So we make sure that we are giving out the right links to the delegates so that they can find out more about the events. I've already saved some of the links, and for the LinkedIn part, I'll be showing how we can embed a post. Let's say we have a Facebook, and we can enter a page name here. Now there are different ways in which all of these platforms operate. So some of them allow us to show direct profiles of the event or of a person, and some of them allow us to show posts which are meant for the event. Let's say I've saved some of the links which I'll be copying, and let's say I have a Facebook link. I copy this, go back, and now I have a page name. Let's say the page name is Currinda. As you can see, enter your Facebook page name and then the link, enter your link to Facebook profile or page. I click on Control V, and then you can see the HTTPS is already filled in. So I'll just remove the HTTPS from my link. Then I want to insert a username from X, or formerly what is called as Twitter. So let's copy a link from Twitter. I'm copying the link of Elon Musk as a sample. Going back to the platform, pasting it in. Now again, my link has an HTTPS. I'll remove it, and then I can say Elon Musk. Then we have an Instagram. We can put in an Instagram post link here. Please notice the difference. We are adding pages or profiles in these two, and an Instagram link in here. Let's say I add the link of an Instagram post. I've already copied one. I'll copy this again and then paste it here. Make sure we remove the HTTPS, and then put in the profile name. Let's say Currinda. And then for the LinkedIn, it's a little tricky. You can see the instructions on LinkedIn post. Click on share embed URL, copy the link written in source and paste below. Now I'll show that in action. I've already opened up a post. I'll click on three dots here, and then you can see this option of embed this post. I'll click on embed this post, and then you can see this source is equal to this link. Now I'll copy this link, and then let's copy this completely first. And then let's click on Control C, and we go back here and paste the link. We do not need the iframe. I could not see the entire thing, so I'll just remove some of the unwanted things and just keep the main link. Let's just remove the HTTPS here as well, and let's say the profile name is Currinda, and click on next. Okay, for some reason this says it's not a valid link. Okay, I had put in spaces at the end because I had pasted these links, so this system detected that I have spaces in the links and did not allow me to go forward. Now social media is done. We come to event banner and logo images. Now these banners and logos are shown in the event itself on the admin side as well as the delegate side, and some of these are shown on the phones, mobile smartphone application for Currinda, as well as delegate name badges. So let's select the event banner first. You can read the instructions on what the size should be, and at least we can maintain the aspect ratio of the size. So here I do not have the image with the correct aspect ratio. However, I have something close. And the badge banner, it must be one is to one. So I made an image with 1:1 size. um, I'll click on event logo as well with the same. And then banner options, hosting style for banner, let's say presented by, we can show the event title and select the title place. This is shown on the event banner itself later. Let's keep it on top. Let's skip the rest of the stuff right now and go forward. Even though these images are meant for mobile, so since we're not touching the mobile aspect yet, once we do, we'll be going through these. So let's click on next. Since the images are a little bit big, it will take some time. So yeah, it's done now. Now we have themes. We can set a theme for the event. By default, we have blue theme and open sans font, which can be of course changed. We can set it to black and see the font matches open sans condensed. This doesn't look good. Let's say something else which is much more cleaner. I think this looks cleaner. So let's say submit, and that is it. Our event is created now. Thank you.